It is, therefore, ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
After all the arguments, the hearings, the speeches, the fighting, and the tweets, the impeachment of President Donald Trump is over. The Republican-led Senate voted on Wednesday to acquit Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
We will reject this incoherent case.
This sham process is the low point in the Senate for me.
But as the votes were cast, a crack appeared in Trump's red wall. Democrats were united in voting to convict on both counts, and they were joined on the first article of impeachment by a single Republican senator, Mitt Romney.
Corrupting an election to keep oneself in office is perhaps the most abusive and destructive violation of one's oath of office that I can imagine.
Romney said he knew his vote would not be without consequences.
I'm sure to hear abuse from the president and his supporters. Does anyone seriously believe that I would consent to these consequences other than from an inescapable conviction that my oath before God demanded it of me?
Several other Republicans, while clearing him of charges, conceded that Trump's withholding of military aid to coerce Ukraine to investigate his rivals was wrong.
The president's behavior was shameful and wrong.
Improper and demonstrated very poor judgment.
But it didn't warrant removal.
The response to the president's behavior is not to disenfranchise nearly 63 million Americans and remove him from the ballot.
Democrats said Trump was a threat to American democracy and its standing abroad, and warned that he would use acquittal as a green light to take his abuse of power to new heights.
By refusing to hold this president accountable, my Republican colleagues are reinforcing the president's misguided belief that he can do whatever he wants under Article 2.
We will be giving the green light to foreign adversaries and future presidents that this kind of behavior is okay.
There is no question it'll get worse. How do I know that? I've heard it from a number of my Republican colleagues, when privately they'll tell me, yes, we are concerned about what the president's going to do if he's exonerated.
Unlike Presidents Clinton and Nixon before him, Trump managed to get through the impeachment hearings and trial without allowing any close advisor to testify or handing over a single document.
The Republican majority refused to get the evidence because they were afraid of what it might show.
Such stonewalling of Congress without consequence, Democrats warned, would harm the balance of power in Washington.
Because the next president will use this precedence to not give any information to a co-equal branch of government when we question them. The next president will use this as, geez, if it's good for me in my election, it's good for the country, as Dershowitz said.
And yet, the investigation continues. The Senate may have refused to subpoena Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, who's reportedly written a book that confirms the charges against Trump. But House leaders said it's likely they will.